I feel like I have made like 12 videos today, and I just looked and it's been 3. And I'm like, what? How is it only been 3? Okay, so now we're on to warranties. Okay, UCC 2313, express warranties by affirmation, promise, description, sample. Express warranties by the seller are created as follows. A, any affirmation of fact or promise made by the seller to the buyer which relates to the goods and becomes part of the basis of the bargain creates an express warranty that goods shall conform to the affirmation or promise. B, any description of the goods which is made part of the basis of the bargain creates an express warranty that the goods shall conform to the description. And C, any sample or model which is made part of the basis of the bargain creates an express warranty that the whole of goods shall conform to the sample or model. Okay, the basis of the bargain. So we have 3 options here. Enough if the claimed warranty reflects the reasonable expectation of the buyer. So the reasonable expectation was the basis of the bargain. May constitute a requirement of reliance. Other courts have held that a warranty statement made by the seller is presumptively part of the basis of the bargain, and the burden is on the seller to prove that the resulting bargain does not rest at all on the representation. So we're going to talk about 2314, implied warranty of merchantability and usage of trade. So unless excluded or modified, section 23116 talks about that. A warranty that the goods shall be merchantable is implied in a contract for their sale if the seller is a merchant with respect to the goods of that kind. So if the seller says these are good to be sold, then they need to be good to be sold. Rotten apples. No, I asked for apples. I didn't specify that they shouldn't be rotten, but like merchantability, why are you selling me rotten apples? Goods to be merchantable must be at least such as A, pass without objection in the trade under the contract description, and B, in the case of fungible goods, are the fair average quality within the description, and C, are fit for the ordinary purpose for which such goods are used. And D, run within the variations permitted by the agreement, or even kind, quality, quantity within each unit and among all units involved. And are adequately contained, packaged, and labeled as the agreement may require, and conform to the promise or affirmations of fact made on the container or label, if any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 things, which I'm not even sure we read through them, other than the big ones he highlighted are pass without objection in the trade under the contract description and are fit for the ordinary purpose for which goods are used. So those are the 2. Pass without objection in trade under the contract description and are fit for ordinary purposes for which the goods are used. Implied warranty fitness for particular purpose, where the seller at the time of contracting has reason to know of any particular purpose for which the goods are required, and that buyer is relying on the seller's skill or judgment to select furnished suitable goods, there is, unless excluded or modified under the next section, an implied warranty that goods shall be fit for such purposes. So if I say, I am using this car to drive to Montana, and you say, oh, this car is perfect, but it's a BMW i3 and it only goes 20 miles before having to be recharged. They go further. I'm not making an implied. Anyway, but it only goes so far, and I'm like, but I don't want to recharge. Like, I made it clear that I was taking a long distance trip and I was buying this car to make a long distance trip, and now you're telling me like I can't go more than 90 miles without without recharging, but like that might not be a great hypo. This is my area. I'm just trying to learn. Okay, so some points to keep in mind. Liability is not limited to just merchants, so this could be a private seller. Created only when the buyer relies on the seller's skill or judgment to select suitable goods for the buyer's particular purpose, and the seller has reason to know the reliance. So if I just came and said, hey, I need to drive to Montana, I need a car that can really can get me far. And they're like, oh, you should buy this one. Bad. Does not require a showing that the goods are defective in any way, merely that the goods are not fit for the buyer's particular purpose. So, implied warranty, fitness for a particular purpose. The seller knows what your purpose is. They know that you're relying on their judgment to select suitable goods, and so it's implied that the goods will be fit for the purpose you say. I want to talk about this bad cell phone plan I once bought because I thought I was going out of the country for long term, but I needed a phone now, and I bought this really expensive phone, and I came back a day later, and they were like, we don't service that phone anymore. I get triggered in this class. That's such a millennial word. I'm not a millennial. Anyway, 2316, which is what we talked about, exclusion of modifications of warranties. Exclusions or modifications. Words or conduct relevant to the creation of an express warranty and words or conduct tending to negate or limit warranty shall be construed wherever reasonable as consistent with each other, but subject to the provision of this article on parole or extrinsic evidence. Negation or limitation is inoperative in the extent that such construction is unreasonable. Subject to subsection 3, to exclude or modify the implied warranty of merchantability or any part of it, the language must mention merchantability, and in case of a writing must be conspicuous. And to exclude or modify any implied warranty of fitness, the exclusion must be a writing and conspicuous. Language to exclude all implied warranties of fitness is sufficient if it states, for example, that there is no warranties which extend beyond the description on the face hereof. Notwithstanding subsection 2, my hair just keeps falling flat. Anyway. Notwithstanding the subsection 2, unless the circumstances indicate otherwise, all implied warranties are excluded by expressions like as is, with all faults, or other language which in common understanding calls the buyer's attention to the exclusion of warranties and makes plain that there is no implied warranties. And when a buyer, before entering into a contract, has examined the goods or the sample or model as fully as he desires and has refused to examine the goods, there is no implied warranty with regard to defects which an examination ought, in the circumstances, to have revealed to him. And an implied warranty can also be excluded or modified by course of dealing or course of performance or usage of trade. Course of performance can show it's been modified. You can say as is with all faults, which is basically like caveat emptor, but it's got to be said, otherwise you get it. Or you're taking it as you examine it, and you say, oh, I've seen it, it's good. Okay, so this was the motorboat case where he wanted to go like offshore fishing, and he needed it to be able to get there, and he told them that, and he saw the spec sheets, and then he bought it, but he put all this extra stuff on, so it added weight and like reasons for why it would slow down the boat. So it says, was there an express warranty? Because he said he wanted to go deep sea fishing. They should have known that it was only like he needed to go a certain mile per hour. But the prop matrices that he saw referred to boats with different specifications, and the oral statement constituted an opinion, merely puffery of like, oh yeah, this boat's fast. Was there a breach of the warranty of merchantability? No, because it would pass without objection in the trade. There was no evidence that a significant segment of the buying public would not have used a boat at 24 miles per hour. It was fit for ordinary purposes for which such goods are used. Evidence showed boat was used for offshore boating. He had like put 500 miles or something crazy on it. It was like, or hours, or yeah. Was there a breach of the warrant of fitness for the particular purpose? And then said no evidence demonstrating seller was informed of the speed requirement. He just knew that he wanted to do offshore fishing, which would have required him to like extrapolate out for why and like what could be the need. And then we have Kakesi v. D. Canio Construction. And this was about a warranty of habitability. I don't remember all of the specifics of the case, but basically, why pick a warrant of habitability over caveat emptor? The builder vendor maintains a superior position and is the only one who can prevent the occurrence of major defects. So they paid Kakesi or Kaneo to build the home, and the builder was really the only one who could make sure that it was habitable because he was building it. And then a bunch of stuff happened, like it was sinking and all this stuff. Should judges or legislatures create this warranty of habitability? If judges have woefully misinterpreted the mores of the day, and if the mores of their day are no longer those of ours, they ought not to tie in helpless submissions in the hands of the successors. Cardozo. You Posner, learned hand, man. Caveat emptor v. implied warranty of habitability. Gap filler. Person who can most cheaply avoid the damage has the liability to do so. So in that case, it was the builder could most cheaply avoid the damage because he was paid to know what he was doing. The other person just, paid him to build the house. So, person who can most cheaply avoid the damage has the liability. Sounds like a good plan. All right, so that's implied warranties.